Well, good morning, welcome back to the garage. Well, I straightened out the wing last night, so I sanded down the filler that you'd seen me putting on, and there was some high spots, quite a few high spots, but it was quite easy just to flatten them out, just kind of a wee chap with the panel beating hammer, just kind of gently, just wee taps. So that I wasn't going too much the other way. So it was quite easy to get that back into shape. So probably wasn't far out, it just kind of feels like it when you're running over with your fingers. So and then what I did was put glazing putty on it. It's kind of like, it's more like a finishing sort of filler, if you like. It's acrylic and it gives a smoother finish. So I'm hoping that that's been enough to flatten out any kind of ripples that were still there after I hammered it. So we'll find out once I sand it. So I'll give you a quick look at it, and then I'm just going to crack on and get sanding it, because if that's okay, then I can move on to doing the kind of front face of it, if you like. And then I can get on with sanding the sill and doing some more work on the rear arch. So, and then I can get to the back and then to the other side. So hopefully this has kind of come out okay, because you know that means that it's not going to be like another week of prep. You know, maybe a day or two, maybe longer. We'll soon find out. But anyway, I'll show you and then get cracked on. So anyone that actually is a trained painter or panel beater or whatever would probably cringing at the amount of filler that I put on, and also the fact that I didn't smooth out the lines in it. I kind of wish I had, because it's a fair bit of sanding. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do with that is run the DA over it, because that's not going to be the final finish anyway. So, because it would take a considerable amount of time to flatten that down by hand. So, but yeah, if I run the DA over it, then see how it's looking. But yeah, as you can see, that's kind of a more smooth, much more smooth finish. So I just need to sand it now. So I'll take the tape off, or maybe not, maybe leave the tape on actually. Yeah, and then according to the instructions, I've used it before, but it's 180, so I'm just going to use exactly what they say. So 180 that, and then hopefully that'll come out okay. If it does, probably get away with just a wee bit of the glazing putty around this edge here. And then we can move on to tackling the 6 million layers of filler that I've put on there. Okay, here we go. Hi, welcome back. So worked quite late again last night. Really been putting shifts in, which is good. It's kind of what I need to be doing to get through this stupid task of trying to renovate 4 cars, or partly refurbish 4 cars in a few months. Yep, genius idea. But yeah, so I just kind of went around last night and filled nearly all of the other bits that I needed to fill, so, or like first kind of coat. Probably need to work on my filling technique, although I think it might be getting slightly better. I think part of the problem is that I was putting too much hardener in, because on the last one I did, I tried putting a bit less, and that made it a lot easier to work with and gave me a little bit more time to use it before it was starting to harden. So I'll probably try doing the same again today. But before I do that, obviously I'm going to need to sand down the bits that I've done, so I know whether I need to put more on or not, or whether I can get them, you know, whether they're going to be sanded into a nice enough shape, basically. So I'll let you have a look around and see how it's going. My angle grinder died yesterday, which is surprising because it's less than a year old. So I bought another one, which is down here. I've not opened it yet, but it's cost twice as much as the one I had. So hopefully it'll last a bit longer. But yeah, I did check, and the one I had has a 3-year warranty. So when I've actually got something to drive, I can go down and hopefully they'll give me another one. So I was kind of thinking it would be handy to have 2, because if you're doing welding, cutting and sanding and welding and things like that, quite often you're changing from grinding blades to cutting discs, grinding discs to cutting discs, which obviously does waste a bit of time over, you know, a few hours. So it'd be a lot easier just to grab one and then grab the other. So so I guess in a roundabout way that's happening, so that's fine. So yeah, I'll stop waffling. We'll give you a quick look around it, and then we'll get cracking with sanding what I did yesterday, and we can get some more filling done. I'm not going to tempt fate by saying I might get it finished today, but yeah, we can see what we can get done as much as possible. So another late night, but as I said before, it was just really great to get onto painting. So anyway, have a look and see what you think. So that was the last one I did with probably too much hardener in it, and I find it quite difficult to clean the metal filler spreaders without the angle grinder, but that makes short work of it. So I was kind of struggling last night because I didn't have an angle grinder. So but I'll be able to give them a nice clean off today, and that should hopefully help to make a bit of a neater job. But again, you know, I've put plenty on. I've not gone crazy because it took a while to sand down the other side. So yeah, and there's just that wee bit there on the join, the bit there where I put some on, where I welded in a panel. Obviously that bit on the sill at the front there, and around this arch as well. So that was the last one I did, which I think's a bit smoother. It definitely went on a lot easier. So maybe I hadn't quite got the ratio correct. That's been kind of sanded and refilled a few times and hammered a few times. I take back what I said about getting it to line up being easy. Getting the hammer and the dents out to be easy, because it kind of felt okay, but then, you know, you kind of do it again and then you're like, maybe it's not quite perfect. So hopefully when I sand down these wee bits that I've added, that should be feeling pretty smooth, and I can call that bit finished once I've done that. And that sill was fine. Obviously I put way too much filler on it, really. I should really have kind of thought about it a bit more, because all I was really trying to do there was hide the bits I've welded in and smooth it out, because obviously I'd ground the paint off, so if you just primed it, it wouldn't be a very flat surface. So yeah, I got away with DA in that, which was great because that saved a lot of time. And then I've just filled in any little indentations with the red putty. And so that was the one that I'd done the deeper filler on first, and sanded that down and put the lighter filler on, and the wee bits at the back as well. So I've got a bit of sanding to do. I did put some rust treatment on yesterday as well. I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm a little bit skeptical, to be honest, as to, you know, how effective rust treatments really are. Sorry if you make rust treatments, but as I said before, I mean, from experience and from talking to people who really know their stuff, you know, once there's rust on a panel, unless you cut it out, it's probably going to come back, or it is going to come back. I ended up getting the Porsches, the 911s, rust there, all of them, and I had a 996 turbo and it corroded there, and I had to get it painted like twice, and there was a little bit on the sill as well. Never get the aluminium sill plates because it will cause rust, because basically they vibrate. It was the same on my VR6, and it's the same on a 911 turbo. So I had the 996 turbo and spent a few grand getting that painted a couple of times, just wee bits. And then I got the 997 turbo thinking they would have solved the problem, but they haven't. There's still nothing there to protect against chips, so exactly the same thing happens. But it was part of the reason for going for black, because it's kind of a lot easier to touch up a black car, you know, in that kind of area there, and hide, you know, some chips after using some rust treatment, than it is on a silver car, which obviously just sticks out like a sore thumb. So anyway, there we go. I'll get cracked on now, and hopefully we can at least make another big dent in this today, if not get it pretty much finished. Okay, here we go. Again. So I got a lot done yesterday again, so that's good. Another late night. It's a pretty late start today because just really tired, but it is what it is. So yeah, just lots more filling done last night, more sanding. I was kind of struggling a bit yesterday because I didn't have all the right sanding discs that I really needed, which is my fault for not making sure that I had more. So I had ordered some, but they're not going to come till tomorrow, so I express ordered some other ones yesterday, so they've just come, so that's cool. So yeah, I'll have a look at how it's doing. Really making progress now, so that's great. I just need to hope that it doesn't take too much extra sanding and filling to just to get it nice and smooth and level, like it needs to be for painting it. Because like the tiniest little thing at this stage will really show at the end stage. So I mean, it won't because it's going to be under trim, but I still want to get it right. So alright, so yeah, I used, you can see up here, I used the kind of stop putty, which is not really what you would tend to use for an area that big, but it's what I had, and I think it should do the job okay. It's probably not a very economical way of doing it. I think it was about 40 quid for the tube, but never mind. And I was actually planning on doing a light skim along the sill with it as well, but I realised that I should probably conserve some for just filling in wee bits and pieces. So I ended up skimming it with the milder filler that I've been using. So I'll let you have a look around it and just go over it while I'm doing it. Still not going to speculate on when it's going to be done. Obviously at the weekend I was hoping to have it done, you know, then, which obviously hasn't quite happened, but I mean, most of it is filled now. It's just really a question of how many times do I need to sand it and refill it, because I watched some more videos online and I was maybe being a bit hard on myself that it wasn't really flat and smooth the first time round, because often it does seem to take a few coats. So but yeah, own worst critic. Anyway, let's have a look, see how it's looking. Alright, so you could kind of see that one in the background, so I'll let that, it's probably dry by now, but I'll still probably do that last, just because probably is that a bit more thickly than you're really meant to. Kind of managed to get put on a bit thinner, so I tried using a smaller spreader there, but I'm not sure. I think I'm maybe going to need to get some more of different types of spreaders for different areas, because I don't think they really work that well for when you're trying to curve around an area like that. I can kind of see how they'd be good for some things, but maybe one that kind of follows the contour a bit better would be a good plan. So yeah, you can see that's a lot thinner and a lot more smooth, so maybe I'm starting to learn how to put filler on without caking it on, and without as much kind of chunky bits. That obviously there isn't looking as good. That's because the filler was starting to harden, and that's what it looks like when you try and put it on when it's kind of starting to harden. So, but it'll be fine once I've sanded it down. Those bits down there looking okay. Maybe get away with just putting some of the acrylic stop filler in them just to even that out a bit. I'll have a look. And again, I think I probably put too much hardener in this, so, but the upside is that it is you know, a lot thinner. So although it's kind of, I don't really know how it's like icing or something on a cake badly. Yeah, although it's a little bit like that, it is, I have put it on a lot thinner, so that's good. So hopefully once I sand that down, I should have a fairly even, smooth surface, hopefully. That bit down there was fine. You can't feel the transition. Obviously I'll need to sand it with a finer grit, just to make sure those sanding scratches don't show through. That was the one. Yeah, nothing really happened on this side, I don't think, since the last time you saw it, so just need to rub down those bits, but I'll probably finish what I can on the other side first, and then come around here, but hopefully I shouldn't have to do anything to the sill, and hopefully I shouldn't have to do anything or too much to that, apart from fill the edge of it. We'll see what happens with that, but yeah, we're getting there. So let's get stuck back into it and see how much closer we can get today. think I'm making progress, but I'm also not sure that I am, because I keep on thinking like, yeah, I'm going to be finished the sanding and filling today, and then yeah, just like a little bit more filler on that, and then we sand and that'll be fine. And then I go back to it and I'm like, nah, I'm still not happy with it. So I did get some plastic fillers, spatulas, whatever you call them, and wow, that's so much easier than the metal things I was trying to use. So that will hopefully make a big difference. It did, like last night when I first used them on this and the other one. I don't really feel like there's anything new to show you, to be honest, because it just looks the same. But I'm gonna hopefully get a bit further forward today. That sill down there, I'm pretty happy with that. Definitely just a couple of tiny little spots with stopper, just the kind of light epoxy glaze resin stuff, and that will be fine. I'm happy with that, so that's good. So we're just, hopefully I can get to that stage with some more panels today, because it seems kind of never ending just now, so, which I'm sure is just an experience. I watched some more videos on filling and sanding, and there's lots of different ways of doing it. So but one thing I noticed was some people wait until it's just kind of hard enough for it to turn to dust when you're sanding it, rather than kind of leaving it for longer, which I don't think that works that well with the red stuff, with the stopper, because it can kind of come out in chunks. But maybe that's a good plan for the other kind of filler. And I think I've probably been trying to get too much out of the stopper, like maybe moving on to it a wee bit too early, and should maybe been using the kind of small to medium filler for a bit longer. So I've gone back to that on the rear arch here, and on the wing, the front wheel arch on the wing. So hopefully that will mean that when I sand it today, it's kind of at least closer to where it needs to be, because I do really feel like I need to get this done, partly for my sanity and also because I just need to get this car finished. I've like literally nothing to drive just now, so that's not ideal. I mean, I'm just training around the corner. There's an MMA gym around the corner, so that's not too bad. But yeah, there's times when it would have been good to nip out and pick something up, and I've not been able to. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop waffling and I'll get cracked on. So fingers crossed on the next video after the time lapse, I'll be able to say that I've made some progress, and this bit's finished and that bit's finished, because yeah, I just need to get this done. I really need to get this done and on to paint. So here we go, wish me luck.